Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Cindy Simkus. I'm the Director of Enrollment Management here at the Knox School. And I have a very distinguished group of students and another panelist with us, Mrs. Riccardi, as well. So I'm going to take a little time to introduce you to everyone who's here for you tonight from Knox. I'm going to start out with Mrs. Riccardi. Mrs. Riccardi is our current head of school, and she brings with her more than 3 decades of experience as an educator and an administrator, which has been an incredible wealth of knowledge for us to have here at the Knox School. In her time here, she's been here since 2011, and in her time here, she's worn many hats and worked in many of the departments across the school and contributed to the school in many different ways, whether being a teacher, an administrator, working for our development or admissions teams, and for our summer camp as well. So as I said, she brings a wealth of experience here to the Knox School, and we're so glad to have her. Her most recent role, 6 years as the assistant head of school. And we're very, very lucky to have her here tonight with us.
Thank you.
As she is quite busy, and we really do appreciate her time. I'm going to take a little bit more time to introduce the rest of our panelists here. You're here tonight for the student experience, and Mrs. Riccardi is going to help facilitate that conversation, but I want to introduce you to our student ambassadors first. So I'm going to kind of head down the line here. First, I have Declan Morrow-Smith. Hi, Declan, how are you? Class of 2023. Declan, if you could unmute for a second, tell me a little bit about yourself, the number of years you've been here at Knox, and maybe a quick fond memory that you have.
Yeah, so I am a senior. It's my 6th year here at Knox. And I think my favorite memory was when I was shadowing. I was shadowing one of my now best friends, and when we went to lunch, it was lasagna, and seeing that there was like a genuine, like real homemade meal for lunch instead of like a public school lunch was like astonishing to me.
Thank you, Declan. Z, we have you there. Zainab Wahid. Hi, Z, if you could share a little bit about yourself too, please.
Hi, so my name is Zana, but I usually just go by Z at Knox. I'm going on my 4th year here. I'm involved in some things at Knox, like some honor societies, and I'm the president of the student council this year. And if going off Declan, if my favorite memory of Knox thus far would probably have to be my English classes with Mrs. Pergola. Even though it's first thing in the morning, we're always reciting Oedipus as loudly as possible. And it just always is a great start to my day.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Z. Joey.
Hi, my name is Joey. I've been at Knox now my 3rd year, came my freshman. And my fondest memory is probably first joining the Knox soccer team, because when I first came here, I played a very different sport, which was hockey. And then the now coach Vasquez, he came over to me and he's like, hey, I need an extra player, and would you want to join the team? And now it's become probably my 2nd favorite sport ever. So yeah, maybe found a new love.
Thank you. I love that. Mia?
Hi, my name is Mia Kino. This is my 3rd year at Knox. I came here my freshman year. I'm the Knox KA, so Knox Athletic Associate. And one of my fondest memories of Knox would be just weekends in general, weekends in the dorm where we just stay in and watch movies till dawn. It's amazing.
Thank you. And Joy?
Hi, my name is Joy, and this is my 4th year at Knox. I joined Knox when I was in 8th grade, and now I'm a junior. And my fondest memory at Knox was joining the volleyball team as an 8th grader, because even though I didn't know how to play volleyball at all the girls on the team became like my sisters and my mentors.
I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you, for your time today. I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Riccardi, and she's going to give a little overview of the school, just sort of introduce everything, and then we'll get started with some questions, okay?
Great. So thank you all for joining us. You just got to meet some of our top-notch students here at Knox. But just a little overview, we are the oldest established private school on Long Island, New York. We average around 130 students a year, and we're coeducational. We offer grades 6 through 12 and also a postgraduate year. and we're a boarding and day school. I know the slide says 15 plus countries, but this year we are actually at 20 countries represented in our student body. So it's just an amazing group of students and educators and administrators here that make awesome things happen on a daily basis at Knox. As the slide says, the average graduating senior class is about 35 students. Those 35 students, all of them get accepted to college. It's something that we work really hard on here because we are extremely dedicated to student success. So our success really is measured by their success. And we're really proud of that number, that 100% of our students go on to college. In fact, many of them go on to their top choice of university, which is pretty impressive. College readiness, speaking of college, is a big thing here at Knox. It starts in 9th grade with our college counseling program. That's a program that has been established and cultivated by Knox's very own staff here. They're groups of educators with decades of experience in the college counseling realm. And the program is something we're really proud of because it starts in 9th grade. Students get assigned things through their Google Classroom for college counseling and Maya Learning. And they work all the way through that beginning of senior year when they take our graduate seminar class to get themselves very, very prepared to be ready and apply to at least one school by November 1st of their senior year. And I know Declan, maybe he'll speak about it, but he just had an interview with Georgetown. So the kids are already starting to, interview and start waiting for some of those acceptances. So really, it's because of the staff we have here that these fantastic things can happen and we can have the outcomes at Knox that we do. So the mission of our school is to provide the opportunity for capable students to excel within a liberal arts program infused with artistic and athletic pursuits. Why do we do that? To prepare them for higher education at selected colleges and universities, as we just heard a little bit. And part of that mission is also driven by the Knox core values, which we try to instill in the students every day. And those are pictured here: respect, responsibility, integrity, courage, kindness, and scholarship. We do recognize those core values monthly. We put out a little form and the students get nominated, and every month we recognize someone in the community for demonstrating one of those core values. And that's something that's really important to us here in the school community. This is just a little snippet of some of our successes, because I think it's really important to know how the outcomes are when you invest in a private school education, specifically a Knox education. As I had said earlier, the average graduating class is around 35 students. And if you look at the bottom here, they do receive quite a bit of merit scholarships yearly. An average of 2.5 million, which is a lot for 35 graduating seniors. These are just some of the universities that our students have attended in the last, I would say, decade or so. And as you can see, the list is really impressive. But what we do is we try to find universities that are best fit for our students. And we help them throughout that entire process so that when they leave Knox, they are well prepared and ready for the college that they ultimately decide to attend. These are just some of our more recent graduates and some of the things that they have to say about their Knox experience. As you can see here, Vasia just graduated in June, and she went to her top choice early decision, which was Barnard College at Columbia University. And again, in this quote from Vasia, she says, "I will carry this last chapter of my life in my heart always. Thank you to the teachers who taught me so much more than just lessons in the curriculum. I learned about my passions, my goals, and the makings of my soul. Thank you all for giving me such an amazing high school experience. And these are just some other testimonies of other students. You can see we've got students that range from business to graphic design, all attending top universities and top universities of their choice as well.
Thank you, Mrs. Riccardi. I think on that note, I want to kind of talk a little bit with our students and sort of open up the floor with some questions to get to know them a little bit better and start the conversation before we dive into some more of the topics. So I think maybe we'll just start with like an open question for everyone. What interested you in Knox? Anyone can jump in.
I'll take the lead on it. Growing up, I used to go to a very, very small school in Smithtown. I've said this before, but my graduating class was only 3 kids. So I was always used to a very like small family-like atmosphere. And I was very nervous about coming to high school. So when I first came to Knox, when I shadowed, it was what I wanted. It was the experience that I knew I wanted to have. I remember coming in and people I don't know greeting me and just welcoming me into the community. And it really continued to show throughout my orientation week and everything. And I remember I was nervous to walk into the gym to meet everyone for orientation, but I left that night and my parents, they saw it on my face. They're like, "This is the place for you, isn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I really liked it." So it's just having people that close always with me and being able to have that community feeling is really what made me choose Knox.
That's so nice to hear, Z. That's really amazing. Joey, I actually have a question for you. I want to know what makes Knox different from your previous school experience.
Yeah, so I came from a relatively like decent sized school, which about the grades had like 150, 200 people. So coming to Knox my freshman year, it was like really, really cool to like have so much like individuality, like, going around campus and knowing everyone's name, just, being friends with about everyone. Like it was like crazy to me. And especially like there's a very different I think culture at Knox, especially with the teachers, the administrators, where like they genuinely care about you and that like you form really close bonds with. And I've learned countless skills from them.
Nice. That's awesome. How about one of our seniors, Declan? Do you have any advice for students who may be considering Knox and are kind of still in that why phase? What should I do? What would you tell them?
Yeah, so when I was in middle school, I know it's a little bit early compared to coming into high school, but I just wasn't really happy with my environment. I felt like my education wasn't really where I wanted it to be. And coming to Knox, I was very nervous. I wasn't sure if it was the right move. I wasn't sure if anything was going to change. And right now, I could tell you that it was probably one of the best decisions of my life. Right now, I don't think there could have been a better education to get me to where I am today. And I think Knox has prepared me for college and prepared me for life in general and has helped me form deep bonds with people all around me that'll carry throughout my life.
Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you. Mrs. Simkus?
Absolutely. So let's see, I want to see if I can chime in with any other questions. Let's see. How about you, Mia? I know you went through a lot of schools you were looking at when you were contemplating where to go. Why did you ultimately choose Knox?
Well, I'm originally from Newark, New Jersey. So the education system over there is very limited. So when I came to Knox, I was lucky enough to be able to come to an open house right before the pandemic hit. So I remember when I first got on campus, I saw the horses and I don't know, like the campus just looks very majestic. It looks more majestic than it does on pictures. And then when I walked in, I was immediately greeted by Vasia actually. And just seeing the student interactions with one another and including like having interactions with me and my family, it just sets them apart from other schools in all the best ways. And then I remember after that open house, I was on every single Zoom meeting for Knox that was offered. So yeah.
Absolutely. I remember that too. Fantastic. So thank you. I think that was a great kind of start to our conversation. I want to talk a little bit more about your experiences here on campus. So I'm going to start, Mrs. Riccardi, do you want to start with some, let's talk about some athletics.
Absolutely. I want to start with Joy for this one, because I know that we spoke a little bit in the beginning and we heard from Joy about how joining volleyball in 8th grade has impacted her. So Joy, I think I would like you to speak a little bit about what your volleyball experience has been like, and talk about the coaches and the expectations of the coaches and a little bit of things like that.
My volleyball experience has been great. I've been on the volleyball team since 8th grade. And what I love about it is the way that everybody is like, we act like we're a family when we're playing too. And even though some people might not take it as seriously as others, we still have expectations that we have to follow. Like our coach, Mrs. Pergola, she sets rules, and there are rules that we must follow in order for us to do good for the season. And even if there is a loss or a win or anything, we always come back together as like a community to talk about it. And that's what I really love about practices, games, and everything. And even on the way to games, the way that everybody is hyped up, and if anything happens at the game, the way that everybody's hyped up on the way back, it's just really nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of school spirit here at Knox. I always say we're small, but we're mighty. And I think Joy touches on a really important point about school spirit. So maybe Mia, as the KAA representative, Knox Athletic Associate, can you tell me a little bit about the vibe on campus during game days?
So during game days, students are allowed to wear their jersey with the uniform bottoms. And during that whole day, you have people coming up to you, asking you, when's your game? What time is it going to be at? They'll even come to away games. We have students just coming up, wishing you support, parents as well. Even like the male people that come in throughout the day were like, good luck on your game. So just being able to have that too, especially on home games, those games are the best. Everyone comes out and cheers for you. You have the boys with pom-poms waving them in the air. It's the cutest thing ever. And away games too, just like Joy mentioned, we get on the buses and we start playing our favorite songs. We have mini concerts throughout the day. We see our coaches and we express to them how excited we are. Because even at the end of the day, we are kids and we like to have fun on the court. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important. We've actually been nominated, as everybody on the panel knows, but just to share a little bit with our audience, we've been nominated for the, it's an annual contest. It's called Best of Long Island, and it's sponsored by Bethpage Federal Credit Union. And we were nominated for High School Spirit and for Best High School Coach. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, we're small, but totally mighty, and our spirit is unbeatable out there, especially when there is a home game. So I think Knox Athletics is just sort of part of what makes our community very family oriented and very tightly knit.
Thank you, Mrs. Riccardi. Mia, I'm going to put you on the spot as our KAA rep. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the successes that our athletics teams have had over the years?
Yeah, of course. So I know our basketball team, we've won a couple of championships. We have 3 banners going on right now. Our boys volleyball team, it was the first time we had a volleyball team and our boys won the championship. It was the best game ever. I think we still have like little jokes going on and off the court too. What else? We have our boys soccer team. They're doing really good right now in the season, undefeated. Our girls volleyball team too. We had an amazing season last year, and this season's going pretty well too. Our basketball team does extremely well. And with crew, we have a couple world records, nation records, and state records. Especially, we have a lot of students involved with ODP, with his Olympic development program for rowing. And our equestrian team does phenomenal with all their riding and events out in and outside of Knox.
Thank you. And I know I put you on the spot to remember all those stats, so I appreciate that. We'll hear more about athletics. There'll be a deeper dive on athletics if our guests are able to come back and join us on Thursday night. We're going to be meeting with one of our athletic directors to talk more about the program. So this is just kind of a little insight, a little snippet tonight. So I'm going to turn the tables and let's talk a little bit about the arts, because we're not just a sports school, we're not just about the athletics, but certainly the arts are an important part of who our students are. So Mrs. Riccardi, you want to talk with the students a little bit about that?
Absolutely, sure. So I think one of the things I would love to talk about first is the arts are so important here, visual and performing arts especially, but they also sort of are the foundation for so many of our traditions here at Knox. And Z, you're the student council president. I would love to hear a little bit more about the importance of song in our school traditions. And I believe you're in choir this year. So I want to talk a little bit about what you've learned from being in choir and just give us an idea of the traditions and the gift of song that they give to the community.
So first, to speak on choir, choir is something that I never thought that I would do past the age of 12. I used to do performing arts in my middle school, and I took it this year as an elective. And I didn't realize exactly how much I would come to cherish choir as a class. My teacher, Miss Melissa Coyle, she is just one of the best human beings I think I've ever met. She understands, how you said, performing arts in other schools, it's not something that is as highly valued. And at Knox, every student is made to be as well-rounded as possible. And Ms. Coyle recognizes that. And she says to us all the time that, choir might not be your cup of tea, but I hope it is something that you can come into this room and you can treasure what you have here and you can learn from the experience. So even though I am definitely not that best singer on the choir, I love being able to go into that room and just try my best and learn in a room where I can feel comfortable. So that's been my experience with choir so far. And as far as the importance of song goes, there are a bunch of very, very important songs at school. I don't think I could even list them all, but the one that I know most importantly is our alma mater. We do sing it all the time at morning meeting. And the alma mater, even though I force everyone to stand up to sing it, it is a symbol of respect and community. It is something that when alum members come back, it's something that they value and cherish, and they take part with us. And it's a way to keep the Knox community together, even though they may not still be on one campus. And they still remember songs from red and white team events and graduation events. So through really music, it's a way to keep Knox community really just connected.
That was a great summary, Z. It's very true. Music and song definitely keeps us connected. But let's talk a little bit now about our actual performing arts classes and the different things that we do. So I think, Mia, you're so involved around here with not just athletics and being on council and all these other amazing things that you do, but also you really have dedicated your time and support to performing arts. So tell me a little bit about your experience with performing arts, and also how do you balance your time between performing arts and your academic commitments, your athletic commitments? I know it's difficult, but how do you do it?
Yeah, so my freshman year, I took theater as an elective, and I definitely do not regret it. I loved going to that class and just experiencing those things, because I've always been shy in front of people, especially when it comes to something as elaborate as acting. So theater definitely opened me up. This year, I have one of the leads in Light Up the Sky. It's a comedy based in the 1940s. And I don't know, it's just been an experience. Today we did our costume fittings, and I absolutely love the outfits that he picked out for me. And just the way it ties into the entire play, it's wonderful. And with the scheduling, so the beautiful thing about the Knox schedule, it allows you to participate in so many things. So on A days, theater is built into your schedule. So if you don't so instead of taking a sport that day, you would go to theater practice. And then on E days, you would have your sports if you're interested in theater. So it works like that. And even then, our theater teacher, he's very lenient and flexible when applying to us and our other commitments. So for example, tomorrow, I won't be able to go to theater right after my class, like right after community period, because I have the game tomorrow, the volleyball game, but I'm going to go during extra help. So I can still have time to go over my lines and fit it into my schedule some way, somehow. Because at the end of the day, it is a commitment that I signed myself up for.
Yeah, excellent. Very good answer. I think you gave such a well-rounded solution to how you can be involved in so much here at Knox, and you can do it all, and you can do it well. And we appreciate when our students do take hold of everything that we have to offer them, because that's how they get the best experience here. And that's how, when they graduate, they've got it all sort of under their belts and they go out into the college world and they're ready because they've done so much here. How about visual arts? Joy, I think you are currently in the dual enrollment for college credit, I think electronic illustration class that Dr. Bush teaches, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
In our electronic illustration class, we're learning, the whole concept is to learn how to do art, not only on like paper, but also digitally. So when I first joined the class, I was a little scared because I'm not a great artist, if I say it myself, but I know the second week that we were in the class, she gave us this assignment, and it's basically 25 ways to draw a fruit or a vegetable. And after we did that assignment, I started loving the class more and more, because I was able to like put some of my personality into my drawing. And then now we're also learning how to incorporate the computer into it. So I just think it's like, I really love the class. Also, our last class, we were using computers to try to make our dream house. As she says it, but she said that we can do like whatever we want, but we have to use shapes. And it was just so funny to me having to like make a tree with different circles and stuff. And I just love the class, even though I don't think I'm a great artist. I really love it.
Nice. Yeah, that's one of our classes I think I'm most proud of in the curriculum, because you can earn college credit for that class. And I think as the class goes on, you're going to love it even more when you start to get into some of the really cool projects that they do. And the faculty in our visual performing arts department are actually so highly qualified. And I have to hand it to them, because not only do they teach here at Knox in our high school program, and in some cases, the college credit classes, they all hold advanced degrees and they teach at the college level. Some of them are professional performers and some of them are even published artists themselves. So that's, I think, something that we've worked to build over the last probably 8 to 10 years. And we're really, really proud of our visual performing arts programming here at Knox. And it just keeps growing and getting better and better, because it's part of our mission to provide those type of opportunities for our students, not just academic, but those creative opportunities as well.
And before we move on from here, I just have to point out our very own Declan is Mr. Peter Pan up there on the screen. We're rolling the tapes back a few years to find that one, but that was to speak to our middle school program, because not only are the arts part of our high school program and a requirement to graduate, but we really start those experiences all the way back at the middle school level. So our middle schoolers are having an opportunity to be part of our visual arts program, and they have their very own winter performance, any variants of a skit. So Declan, I'm going to ask you to kind of remember back a few years, but you want to share a little bit about that middle school experience?
Yeah, sure. So middle school theater and participation in the play is built into the curriculum for the middle school, and it's required. And I think it's a really good opportunity, because personally, I had no interest in the arts or theater or anything. And then they threw me into the lead role of Peter Pan, as you can see there. And it was honestly a great experience. I made a lot of great friendships throughout it. I was honestly learning to remember lines, learning positions on the stage. It's something that I had no idea about before, and it gave me new respect for theater as a whole. And I think that I might consider the musical for this spring.
Well, I'm pretty sure Mr. C will be very excited about that. That would be wonderful. So I'm going to turn it now. We've talked about the athletics, we've talked about the arts, and we're going to talk more about the arts on Wednesday night when we have Dr. Bush, our visual and performing arts chair, join us with a couple of students. We'll talk a little bit deeper about the performing arts and the visual arts opportunities at Knox. But now I'm going to talk a little bit about some other extracurriculars, because all of the students here tonight are fully loaded with lots of different opportunities. Mrs. Riccardi, you want to talk a little bit about our clubs and organizations on campus?
Sure. I would love to. Our clubs are very student driven, meaning we don't just put out a list of clubs and say, hey, this is what you have to choose from. We try to encourage our students to head up clubs that they are really, really interested in, sometimes even find new clubs or organizations. And really, it prepares them for leadership, not just leadership roles here in student council, but leadership in their own clubs, leadership moving forward in college, because we teach the students how to drive the process and how to accomplish things and get things done. So some of what we offer are obviously the honor societies, and we're really proud that we offer so many of them to our student body. So there's National Honor and Junior Honor Society, and the projects and the amount of work outside of school that these students do is really astounding. I don't even know how they do it, but they do, and it just makes us all so proud as a community. We have our Math Honor Society, which is Mu Alpha Theta, the National English Honor Society. We also have a History Honor Society, Rho Kappa. The National Art Honor Society is another one. We are looking into renewing our Tri-M, which is a Music Honor Society, that chapter, and also National Science Honor Society. And of course, we have our Student Council, and we have our Admissions Ambassadors program run by our admissions office. So there are so many opportunities for students to become leaders in our school. And I think that, almost every student here is a leader in some way. That's how many opportunities they actually have. And if you look to the right, you can also see some of the clubs. So Z, maybe you want to start with this one, because you actually founded our Amnesty International Club, which is still going. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Of course. So as Mr. Riccardi said, a lot of the clubs at Knox are student driven. And when I was in 10th grade, it was actually during the lockdown, and it was a very restless time, and I was restless, and I knew I wanted to do something. And I knew there was other kids that were feeling the same way that I did, that weren't incredibly well informed on things, or they just wanted to learn more about what's going on in society and the world around them. So I founded the Amnesty International chapter at the Knox School, and it has changed my lives in every way for the better. I like to believe that's made me a more upstanding member, and just the experiences I've had in that club itself. I've had young middle school girls come up to me and just tell me that through Amnesty, they're able to find a space where they can be comfortable and ask questions that maybe they don't feel comfortable asking their parents or teachers, and they've been able to learn so much more, which I wish I was able to have that experience when I was in middle school. So it's just been such a heartwarming and amazing experience for me. And just other clubs at Knox too. The Women's Student Union that I'm a part of, we just recently donated money to the ACLU. And it's truly just about listening to what the students of Knox want to do and finding a way to make it work. Nothing is really forced upon us. We really get the chance to follow our own passions and creativities and get to implement it into our daily schedules.
Yeah, that's one thing I think that makes Knox unique also. We do implement club time into the schedule because we feel it's important for students to actually have that dedicated time to be able to participate in clubs because it's something that they, love and enjoy. And I think, Joey, how about you? What kind of student organizations have you been involved with here at Knox, and what has the experience been like for you?
Well, the first real organization at Knox I was a part of was the student council my freshman year when I became class president. So that was my first one. And then soon after I joined the Honor Society. This year's I'm also in the English Honor Society, and this is my first year in the Art and Fashion Club, which has been fantastic. It's helped me explore really a passion I've had for art and fashion. So it's been recently, very nice to be able to talk to very similar minded people. And I've met people in the class where like I see them around campus and I'm like, wait, you like the same things I do? Because I never, we never talked about stuff like that. So that's been really cool. But yeah, previous to Knox, the honor societies, I felt like didn't do much. I felt like it was more of a title, but at Knox, like we're doing fundraisers a lot. And we have like we have a plan of what we want to do and we execute it fantastically. And sitting with the student council, all the events they host for the students, they host a lot of really cool events from movie nights, dances, karaoke recently. Like, it's just so cool to be able to have like the student council be able to like, such great opportunities to hang out with friends from school.
Yeah, and to hang out and do things that you enjoy and also that have a positive impact, not just on the school community, but even, on the local and national level, and sometimes even on the world level with some of the different, projects that our student clubs accomplish. And one of the things I think that Joey said that's so important is that we have a plan and we execute it fantastically. And that's true. Everything is planned here. Students are involved in the planning. They learn how to manage time. They learn that they have to get things done, and they do. It's just part of, I think, what makes a Knox school experience so very unique. And it's that leadership piece too. I mean, Declan and Z, I know that you can speak pretty heavily on, leadership here at Knox, because since you've been here, you've both grown into really great leaders on our campus. So maybe you guys can speak a little bit about those leadership experiences and how Knox has played a role in your leadership development. I don't know, Declan, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll head this one. So I have been class president for, I guess this is my 5th year now, starting in middle school. And it was really cool because my first year, probably around the first week, we had class meetings where the whole class, the whole grade meets together in one room or one area. And we talk about fundraising ideas. We talk about plans of trips we want to do, or just issues that we have in the class, anything that we want to settle as a group or anything we want to do as a group. We talk about it there. And as soon as I saw that opportunity, I wanted to jump on it. As soon as I saw the class president there talking to everybody, helping everybody with their stuff, I knew I wanted to be president. And since then, I have done that. And I think it's been a really great experience preparing me for the world, preparing me to interact with my peers, I act of kind of like a liaison between the faculty and the students and students, and being able to communicate well and execute plans and work together with people. I feel like my skills in those areas have drastically improved due to these leadership opportunities.
I can agree with that. I've definitely seen it over the years. Yes, for sure. Z, how about you?
So when I first came to Knox, I think my first experience of student government was actually Declan's class meetings in freshman year. That was my first experience, and I remember helping plan fundraisers, running milkshake sales with members of my now close senior class friend group. And I really like being able to have a part where I can give back to my community and my friends and be able to be someone that kids can look up to and just someone they can talk to. And I think it's really what Declan said about being, a little mini liaison. Having someone that I think you can look up to is a really important part of going to school, of having a mentor. And I've had some, like we talked about Vasu before, she was someone that I shadowed coming to Knox, and she was a great role model through and through. And being a senior now, the one thing you hope to do is leave a legacy through your leadership. So I think that's really what, like me and Declan strives to do, is try and just be the best students and people we can be, so that we can leave our legacy and leave school behind a better place.
And that you do for sure every day. You guys, all of you on this panel, are standouts in our community, and we notice it. And that's one of the big reasons why you're on this panel. And it's not to say that, this is a perfect community and everything is always perfect and everyone's always completely 100% happy. But the nice thing about it is that if there is a problem, students have a voice. They have some people everywhere that they can turn to and talk to, and we will always listen, and we will always try to solve a problem. And as Z said, make things better every day. And I think that's one of my goals as head of school, is just to make this place better every single day for every single student.
Thank you. So thank you guys. Again, I love the stories that you share, and your experiences, I think, are incredibly helpful for our audience today. I do want to talk a little bit about academics, because we are a school. So we've covered a lot of the fun stuff, but I want to make sure we cover the academics too. So Mrs. Riccardi, I mean, you were a teacher. You've been in the classroom, I think, with some of these students as well. So I'd love to hear from you about our academics program and our students for their experiences.
Sure. I mean, the thing I love about academics at Knox is that we are always trying to grow that academic program. I mean, we add to the AP offerings every year. All of our classes are taught at a level of academic rigor that just exists here. And I think one of the main things, the dual enrollment classes that we recently started adding, we have about 12 of them now, which means Knox students can graduate with college credit. Now, some of the colleges will turn around and say, oops, sorry, I'm not taking your credit. I want you to take it at my school, which is fine. But the point is, you still got that level of college teaching experience. You were taught at that level. You followed a college syllabus and you got the experience. So I think that's just, one of the many things that I love about the academic program here. And I know you're going to get to meet with the Dean of Academics tomorrow night on tomorrow's session. But I think we should hear from the students themselves about the different classes that they have taken, how they've been challenged academically. So maybe we'll just start, Joey, with you, and we'll go kind of down the line and let's hear from you guys about academics at Knox.
Before I previously stated, was Knox, like the classrooms have a very close bond with the teachers in a certain way, because it's such small classes, and if you really don't understand something, they'll stop the class and try to help you. And there's extra there's a, what is it called?
I heard you say extra. Were you thinking about extra help?
Yes, thank you. Extra help is built into the day, which is fantastic, because multiple times, I look on the schedule, I'm like, oh, thank you that the extra help's built in, and the teachers are always there. I don't think I've ever been to an extra help where the teachers are not there for the 3 years that I've been here. And I've especially formed very close bond with a history teacher who's made me, I was for a while losing love for history, but he reinvigorated my love for history. And even now, I still cannot stop. We send each other things about history, and we just I love it, and it's been fantastic.
So it sounds like you've been really inspired by your academic experience here.
For sure. Definitely.
Nice. Declan, how about you?
Yeah, so I've kind of been all over the map in my academics. We talked a little bit about my theater experience in middle school. But other than that, I have taken a lot of what Knox has to offer. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity of how many classes Knox has to offer. So I think one of my favorite parts about the school year is not about the school year, but about the academics is towards the end of the year, you get a form and you're able to pick your own classes. And it's not just like a normal school, a normal high school where you pick your classes and they're kind of put into your schedule, but you basically get what you get. Here, the Dean of Academics and the academic department really works hard to make sure that every student is able to get what classes they want and further their education into what they want to do in the future. So for myself, I want to go into something medical, and being able to work in classes like AP Biology, AP Environmental this year, AP Psychology, classes like that will really help me push me to where I want to be in the future is just really, it makes me really feel good about the school and feel like I'm really cared for here.
Yeah, some people describe it as boutique education because we do go out of our way to sort of custom make a program for our students, as Declan said, based on what track they want to follow when they graduate, so that they are prepared to get into those schools that they're really interested in, their top schools. Z, how about you with academics? What would you like to share?
I was going to say really what Declan said, but I really do appreciate the fact that I get to curate my own schedule towards the end of the year. An example would be that this year I'm taking AP Government and Politics, and that is a class that me and my friends, we really pushed for because it's a class that we really wanted to take, and being able to just have an input into what I want to do, and it being recognized by my teachers, it really does mean a lot because, like Declan said, starting being a college prep school, I get to kind of forge my path now. I get to take the classes I want, and I get to kind of see what really interests me. I get to take AP Government, but I also get to take environmental, and I get to take psychology. So I get to see everything that I really like, and it all fits into my schedule perfectly because I'm the one that made it. So I do really appreciate that about the academic department.
Can you talk a little bit, Z, since having had you in class 1 year, about the writing across the curriculum that we stress at Knox?
So taking college writing as an underclassman was one of my best decisions, I think. It's really helped me grow as a writer and as a student because as my years have progressed, I've taken classes like Honors English 2 and now AP Lang and AP Literature. And our English department here, it is dual enrollment, and the curriculum is advanced enough so that when you go to college, they can see just how fit you are and able you are to take these rigorous courses. And I think I can speak for Declan and I both that the growth in our writing compared to what we did sophomore year to now has increased and improved exponentially. I'm definitely not an amazing writer now, but I'm a lot better off than I was my freshman year. And that is due to the intensity of these classes that I'm taking. So.
I think that's one of the things, Joey, when you first came as well, you noticed a difference that you said, oh boy, I have some work to do in my writing. And you were in one of my classes as well. And just over 1 year, do you want to describe what that was like and how you've improved in your writing? Because I know you have, because I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah, when I first came to Knox, I was like, wow, that's a lot of work, but not in a bad way because I benefited a lot from it, especially in your class. We had to write essays a good amount. And I used to be not very good at writing at all, but over the course of each essay, there was drastic changes in it because the teachers just know what they're doing and they give such good feedback on all the essays that I was able to learn from my mistakes. And now it's become one of my strong suits, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nice. Thank you. Hey, Joy, how about you? Academically, what has Knox provided and done for you? Because I remember when you first came, you kept saying to me, I want harder classes. I want harder classes. Remember that? Joy is one who loves to challenge herself. And she really is doing that a lot this year. But let me let you have the floor. Talk to me about Knox academics.
When I came in eighth grade, I remember that I originally started in eighth grade math, and I was also in eighth grade English. But as I was taking the classes, I realized that they were kind of easier for me. Like in English class, we would read a book for like a week and then write an essay on it. But I think 3 of the books that we read, I have already read them and did essays on them. And also my math class, I find it kind of easy. So I took a test and I got moved up to Algebra 1, which was with ninth graders. So being able to move up really kind of shocked me, because I know at my old school, I would just have to stay until that class until next year to learn new things. And it also helped me grow, because now I want to talk about last year, right before school ended. I was talking to Miss Kilgannon, who was our college counselor, but also the AP psychology teacher, about how I was thinking about becoming a psychologist, but I have never studied anything with psychology before. And her and Miss Pergola, they just not threw me, but they gave me the idea of taking AP psychology. And they said I could study a little bit over the summer to be prepared. And now I'm in my AP psychology class. And I think it's really preparing me for college, because now I'm learning how to manage all the workload with all my other AP classes and dual enrollment classes too. And even though it's a lot of information to take in, it's helping me become a better, well-rounded person.
Nice. Excellent. I'm so glad that you're really putting yourself out there academically this year, Joy. You're really doing some amazing things. So
thank you.
Yeah. And Mia, how about you to close us out with academics?
Well, going back to scheduling with Z, I remember my first scheduling appointment with you, Mrs. Riccardi, over Zoom. And I remember wanting to take almost every class that was being offered in any way possible. My classes, they stem from ceramics all the way to AP Psych to French. So it's very liberating on how many classes you can take and what interests you. Right. Personally, I TA ceramics this year. I took the class last year, and being able to improve and also help others at the same time, it's very establishing for me. Nice.
That's great. Yeah, I think, like I mentioned earlier, just everything we do academically at Knox, it evolves around our students, and we have our students in mind and their needs. And I love that the Dean of Academics is so open-minded to, bringing in new courses and trying new things, because it really allows students who have been here with us for so long, like the students you see tonight on the panel, it allows them never to feel like it's the same old grind year after year, which can happen in other school settings. So I'm really proud of the academic program here at Knox. And the thing I guess I'm most proud of is that it's never, ever stagnant, and it's always dynamic. And I think that's really important, especially in a college prep school.
Well, thank all of you for covering some of the academic parts of who we are as a school and your experiences. I want to talk a little bit and change gears again. We've touched on this already, because I've heard you guys talk about our school community and some of, I know, our singing traditions, but I would love to talk a little bit now about some of our other beloved traditions here on campus. Mrs. Riccardi?
Sure. There are so many. I mean, you just see a little bit of a sampling here. But what the traditions really serve to do is it keeps our community together. And they go on through the course of the entire school year. So they start at the very first back to school barbecue during team choosing night, and they run all the way through to the end of the year to the lantern parade and senior sing that you see up here. But I think the best way to really learn about these is to just ask the students, what are some of your favorite traditions here at Knox?
Okay, if I go first?
Sure.
Yeah, definitely my favorite last year was definitely gym night, which was actually organized by Mia. She was one of the people on organizing it. Like, comes a lot of preparation with it. Literally the whole week is dedicated to prepping for gym night. That's how big of an event it was. Because when you come to Knox, you get put into two teams, the white team and the red team on fate night. And you get to stick with that team the rest of your life. And like going back to before, it's like also a great way to relate to alumni because that's always something you can talk about.
That's that's a great point about relating back to alumni, because the alumni do come back to gym night and they just love to see what we're doing now versus what they did when they were here. And it keeps the connection for them to Knox. So I think gym night is definitely a very, very popular favorite. Anyone else want to share one of their favorite Knox traditions?
Can I speak?
Yes.
My favorite tradition is the International Fair, and I only participated in it last year because of COVID and the lockdown.
Yeah.
But my French teacher last year, I was in French 3, and we were in class trying to decide what we would do for the International Fair. So what we decided on was we could make crepes. So we went out and we bought the crepe making machine and everything. We had a class day dedicated to preparing to make crepes. And I can remember it was hilarious how everybody else made it good on the first try, and mine was just burnt and messed up. And it was just so funny. But then during the International Fair, serving people and giving out orders, it was just so much fun. And seeing people's face light up when they actually liked what I was cooking without any mishaps was nice too. And trying all the different foods from different cultures. I know last year my mom brought a traditional African dish, and I didn't even have a chance to try it because everybody ate it before I could even try it. So I just love the International Fair.
I agree, Joy. That's one of my favorites because you literally see every culture and every country represented in our gym in one day at one time. And it's more than it's food, it's costumes, it's performances, it's art. It's really an absolutely amazing day. So I'm with you. It's definitely one of my favorites also. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll share. So I want to highlight Senior Sing, which I will be partaking in a few months. So Senior Sing in December, right before our holiday break, all the seniors gather on the Houghton Staircase, which is one of our oldest buildings, and they sing Christmas carols. And the junior class, which I was happily able to partake in last year, is able to decorate the staircase and hang up wreaths and lights and drop little snowflake pellets down. And it's just an amazing experience having the whole school come together, watching the senior class bond for one of their last ceremonies together. And last year we were able to change it up. We had someone dressed in like a Santa costume. We were able to have hot chocolate after, and the seniors get their senior gift from the junior class during that event. And I think seeing the connection and almost like a passing of the torch before the graduation between the seniors and the juniors is really, really important. And I think it's one of my favorite events at Knox.
I love that one too. And, these are 100-plus-year-old traditions that have survived, the quote unquote test of time over the years. And really, they just show how deeply we care about our students and how much we value the diversity in our student body, because these traditions recognize all of those different things. They recognize culture and diversity and athletic prowess and academic acumen. We have an academic bowl between red and white team every year that happens. And it's just so much more than, hey, you come to Knox, you go to classes. You immerse yourself in this amazingly supportive and fun community. And all of these experiences, when you experience traditions like these, they impact you for life, and they also have an impact on your development as a person, your ability to get along with other people. Some people say, I never even spoke to this kid until gym night, and we were on the same team and we had to do, a race together or something like that. So all of these things beyond academics make us, I think, really, really proud of our school community, because that student life piece is just so very important. And I want to go into that now a little bit. Mia, you mentioned earlier how weekends are just so fun here, and you do all these different things. Sometimes you watch movies. Tell me a little bit about what Knox students do for fun and the different activities that are planned and available both on and off campus.
So like I mentioned before, this is my third year at Knox. I'm a 7-day boarder, so I don't go home on weekends as often as 5-day students would. So on the weekends, Friday, usually in the dorm, although we don't have outside activities sometimes, we usually watch dorms, like in Terrace, that's the dorm that I stay in. We made it sort of a tradition to watch horror movies every Friday, or we do karaoke with our dorm parents. So it's really fun. Some weekend activities that we do, we go out to Six Flags, we go to the city, the mall, we go to different sporting events. We also go to, like seasonal events. So like pumpkin picking, ice skating, little things like that. It's really fun. Student council also hosts events on the weekend. We have our Halloween haunted house coming up and our party for that as well. So there's always something to do on campus.
And I think there were some trips this weekend that just passed to a couple haunted houses, weren't there?
Yeah, we went to a couple of haunted houses, and we also went costume shopping for Halloween.
Nice. That's great. I love the seasonal trips. It just makes, the whole student experience so much more special, I feel like. Another big part of student life are the all-school meetings, believe it or not, because those all-school meetings are a time where everyone comes together and sort of connects at the end of the day, and we have announcements, different things like that. I want to talk about those a little bit. Declan and Z, you run those as leaders of the student council and the senior class president. So can you just talk a little bit about the all school meetings and what they are and why we have them and things like that?
Yeah, sure. I'll take the lead on this one. So all school meetings, it's a really fun time, honestly. 20 minutes. But it's really nice because everyone gets to just gather in the gym at the end of the day, and we get to discuss, sports games that are going to happen during the week, major accomplishments made by student athletes and just students in general. And it's a really nice time. We get to sing the alma mater together, and it's something that's always been really special because no matter what time that we've had these meetings, it's just a time where everyone gets to sit with their friends and they get to listen to either the Wisdom Wednesdays or it used to be Motivation Mondays. But it's just a really, really nice time for everyone to just get together and kind of relax for a little bit as a community and get to hear a little bit about what's going to go on in the next few days.
I think for me, one of my favorite parts is the happy birthday tradition. We announce birthdays and the whole school community sings happy birthday to whoever is currently celebrating. And that's a really nice part of our all school meetings. Mrs. Simkus, I think I'm going to hand it over to you and see what you would like to do if we have a few more minutes to add some more information here.
Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to take a couple of questions from the group.
Great.
So these are questions that are typically asked, so I'm just going to kind of throw those out. Obviously, you can see in this picture, but let's talk about it a little bit. Are there uniforms at Knox? Mia.
Yeah, so Knox, we have 2 variations of uniform. We have our spring and fall uniform, and then we also have our winter uniform. Winter uniform is followed with the Knox button down with a tie for males. And we have our blue blazers, which are for underclassmen. And then during our ring and blazer ceremony, our seniors are gifted their white and red blazers. And then the girls also wear kilts, but they can also wear pants, vice versa. And during our fall and spring uniform, we wear blue, white, and red polos with the Knox sweater as well. And this year, during the month of October, we're allowed to wear pink ties and pink socks in awareness for women with breast cancer.
Thank you. Mrs. Riccardi, I'm just going to ask you to touch on uniforms for one more minute. Why do we have them? And what's the significance of the senior blazer?
Sure. So we have uniforms for a few reasons. One of them is just it helps really to tie us together as a community. You know, one of the things that I think makes it so easy, especially for boarding students and even day students, you get up in the morning, you know what you're wearing, you have your uniform. That's one reason. The second reason is because we're teaching everybody that image is everything. And when you get out in the world, the way you present yourself really matters, and what you are wearing and how you're wearing it really matters. We also do a lot of different photography and videography projects here for marketing purposes, and we want the world to see us in our nice uniforms. So that's another reason. The significance of the senior blazer is really, it's a tradition that goes all the way back to when we were an all-girls school and we just were beginning in 1904. But when you become a senior, you're kind of marked with your white or your red blazer to show that you've worked really, really hard to come this far and make it this far. And now you are a role model for the underclassmen in the community. And you wear that blazer with pride because you've earned it. And all the other students kind of like look up to you, and it distinguishes you as a senior on our campus. So, you know, we really don't get any complaints about our uniforms. And I think over time, we've listened to the students as well. And they've said, hey, we really want, you know, this kind of skirt, or we'd like to be able to wear black turtlenecks under the red blazer. And these are all things that we listen to them. And actually, the black turtlenecks became a senior privilege this year, because that's another thing we have here at Knox. The seniors every year come up with a list of privileges that they would like to have as seniors, and they petition the head of school. And most of the time, the privileges are very reasonable, and they are granted. So uniforms at Knox are just a really important part of who we are, part of our identity, and make us, I think, stand out from a lot of other schools.
Thank you. I'm going to ask two more questions for the night, and then we're going to wrap it up because I do know that it's quite late, and I appreciate all of your time. Common question we get quite frequently, what's the food like on campus? And I'm going to toss this to my juniors first. Joey, are you out there? Start with Joey.
Yeah, the food on campus is pretty good for a school. I know coming from public school, like the food was unedible, like you couldn't even eat it. But Knox, it's pretty good. There's also a lot of variety. There's a salad bar. There's also other options. Like if you go up to the gym, there's the senior tuck, and there's the PSA ran nest, which also has, like, you know, a lot of ramen basically, but senior tuck has a lot more variety of food that you could definitely get there.
Mia and Joy, I'm going to have you talk about the food, but talk about the comforts of home. Both of you are boarders here on campus, so talk a little bit about that, and we'll wrap it up for the night.
Yeah, so I've been a boarder at Knox for quite some time now. I've been between Ninth and Terrace. I lived in both dorms. So being able to cooking your own food is also another option. So like Joey mentioned, there's the salad bar. We also have the deli bar. There's rice cooker, panini press. There's also a bunch of hot food options, and the kitchen also accommodates to your dietary needs. But if you do not like anything, I don't want to say there's nothing that you can like there, because there's always so many options that you can eat. But if you prefer something, you can cook it in your dorm, and you can also leave a form with them. There's one on our school website for students to apply anything if they want to add anything to the menu. The staff is really welcoming. I know Tony asks me every week if there's something from home that I miss, and he'll cook it up for me real quick. So they're very welcoming, and especially to new ideas. Dorming, I've lived in Terrace and Night, like I mentioned, and being able to be in a closed-knit environment, especially with your friends. Like I'm roommates with Joy, and I've met Joy. I've been friends with Joy for 3 years now, and seeing her in the dorm in classes and at practice every day, I don't know, we're stuck together like glue. So being able to have that time with my roommate in different settings, and especially for all of us just coming together, and the dorms are really comfortable, and seeing how everyone decorates their room differently, it's really fun. And everyone in our dorm, at least, is obsessed with Squishmallows. So seeing all the different Squishmallows that everyone has is pretty funny too.
Joy, final thoughts on being a day student and a boarder during your time here at campus?
When I joined the school, all the way up until last year, I was a day student. And in my opinion, I like being a boarder more because I have way more opportunities like night practices, morning practices, or all the weekend trips and other stuff. Even though I'm a 5-day boarder, I'm still allowed to go on any weekend trip that I would like to go to. And I just like how everybody in the dorms are always so close together that I could literally just get up from my room and knock on the door of someone and ask them a question for my homework. And it's like they would drop everything to help me or anything. And also, I love how the dorm parents are not even like our parents, they're more like our older sisters. Like, I know one of our dorm parents, she literally is just like me. Like, we like all the same things. And it's always so fun talking to her like we're siblings. And we can talk like, not like it's a teacher to a student a relationship, like it's a older sister to younger sister relationship. So that's what I really love about staying in the dorms. And also, I like the variety of food that even if I don't like what's on the menu for a specific day, I know I always have an option to either make a sandwich, to eat a salad, or to get fruit or anything that I want also.
Thank you, Joy. And I'm going to close tonight with our two seniors. I want to ask each one of you who've been here for a number of years, one final thought that you would give to somebody who's contemplating coming to Knox, one tip or piece of advice, recommendation. Declan, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, so my advice, if you are thinking about coming to Knox, is to do it. I mean, I'm sure you're nervous about the decision. I was very nervous about the decision. I was very worried that it wasn't the right decision, very worried that I might miss out on something, but I can confidently say that Knox was my best option, and it is most likely your best option. The academics are amazing. The opportunities are absolutely amazing throughout the day, throughout the weekends, just all year round. And it's really just a great experience. And I'm going to be very sad leaving in the spring, but I know Knox will always have a piece of my heart.
Thank you, Declan. Z, final thoughts.
This is really difficult because I don't know if I can sum it up, but I think I would just say that if you are debating it, I think you should do it. I think you should be able to take your life into your own hands and be confident this is the right decision for you. Because, like I said before, Knox, it's like a little home. It's a community that will always have your back throughout high school experiences and past that. And it's been an honor to be a part of it. And I've made relationships that will stay with me and they've impacted me. And I think that everyone should be able to have an experience like that in the future. So I would say that if you're debating it, there's nothing to really debate about. I think you should just go for it.
Well, I think Mrs. Riccardi will join me in saying that it was our pleasure and our honor to have each and every one of you as part of our student body. And I thank all of you for giving of your time tonight, because I know we were speaking before this event even started and there's AP exams and papers to write and all kinds of stuff. So Mrs. Riccardi, why don't you close it out for the night, and we'll let everybody get back to their studies.
Absolutely. Again, just to Mrs. Simkis's point, thank you all for being here tonight, representing our school so strongly. We appreciate you guys more than you know. I hope for all of our guests and visitors on tonight's presentation that you get a little bit of an idea of what our amazing community is like. And if you have any questions, you could please feel free to reach out to any one of us. Come and visit us on campus. You could take the virtual tour on our website. And I think if you do all those things, your question to the big why will be answered, and you'll be able to choose Knox confidently.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. I look forward to hearing from you in the future. Have a great night.
Good night.